Philip Hamburger, and he has he writes often for the Wall Street Journal, and he has made the latest PragerU video. Do we have it ready to play? I'll play you the first minute or so.
We're witnessing the biggest merger in history. Big government and big business are getting together to tell us what to do, what to say, and what to think. And the only way they can do it is to work around the Constitution. Sometimes this alignment is voluntary, sometimes not. Either way, it portends a profound change in the way we live, and not for the better. An early hint of this merger occurred in 2013. That's when the Obama administration implemented what it called Operation Choke Point. The idea was to choke off a type of business, payday lending, that the administration didn't like, but couldn't get Congress to ban. Payday lenders make small, short-term loans at high interest rates. Their customers are usually in need of quick cash, for example, to pay a bill that's due before the next paycheck arrives. This is entirely legal. Nonetheless, the Obama administration pressured banks not to process credit card payments to these businesses or give them loans. Banks are heavily regulated and very susceptible to government pressure. All the government had to do was apply pressure to two banks, Four Oaks Bank in North Carolina and Commerce West in California. Soon, others took the hint and stopped doing business with payday lenders. State governments have taken a cue from the federal government. In 2018, New York State warned banks and insurance companies about reputational risk in doing business with the National Rifle Association, thereby denying it financial services. Recently, the federal government has been pressuring social media platforms to censor speech.
All right, we'll hold it
Twitter
there. I mean, this is an example of we teach what should be taught, the motto of PragerU. The merger of big business and big government. Professor Hamburger is a professor of law at Columbia University, and as hard as it is for me not to say professor the whole time, that's the way my parents raised me. I can't get it out of my brain. But I will call you Philip, and thank you for this video and all the work you do. Is Obama the original sin in this matter?
Oh, no. There's nothing personal about this. This is structural. He was just one of many players, perhaps not a particularly important player in this. The underlying problem is that we now have business and government run by bureaucracies. And these bureaucracies share tastes, interests. They talk well with one another. And the intrusion of regular politics or morals or religion really seems to them an impediment to their plans for rational governance. It's a natural alliance amongst technocrats. So I think it's a structural problem. Now, of course, our government wasn't designed to be run that way. It's meant to be politically accountable through elected Congress. But since we've hived off legislative power, even judicial power, to agencies, there's a natural linkage between big government and big business. Not all business, really big businesses. So that's the risk. It's a structural problem.
Given the power of big government and the power of big business, it seems to me that there's not much left for liberty in a country if they merge.
Right, and I should emphasize, I'm not against business, and not against big business, nor not at all, and nor am I against substantial federal power. Government has to have power, considerable power, and the Constitution provides for that. The risk is that we're channeling government power through agencies, through unelected lawmakers, and that changes the complexion of government. So I'm not an opponent of regulation. I'm not an opponent even of big government, but our government is subject to some limits on what it can do, and we've ignored those. And most importantly, it's subject to process limits. We should have laws made by Congress, elected by us, and cases adjudicated by the judiciary, which is unelected and quite independent of us. And unfortunately, we now have agencies exercising executive, legislative, and judicial power all rolled into one. And that's really disturbing.
Like the EPA?
The EPA is one, that's right. It's a well-known example. We actually have hundreds of agencies, so I'm not even sure I could list them. If I had to be on an exam, I'd get in trouble. Even the government has difficulty keeping track of all the agencies.